obstacles create winners, because you have to push past an obstacle, like you said, to realize you have another option, which creates another option, which creates another option, which eventually will get you to completion. So
build $1,000,000 legacy with purpose.
I am Dr. Marnita on fire, as y'all know. You know, we spend some time just getting things hooked up, this digital stuff, just navigating the territory let me tell you, each and every week. So if you are out there and you're trying to navigate some territory digitally, it's a whole thing. So don't get frustrated. Persevere through it, because the results on the other side of that is worth it, because what you have on the other side of your perseverance, trust me, it is worth it. It is so worth it. So I am your achievement and performance coach. Did y'all hear what I just said? Woo, like, you know what? Once I get my other like streaming platform, they have all the bells and whistles where they go, yay! So I want y'all to go, yay! Put some fire in the chat, like let's go. I'm on a whole nother level.
I love it. Let's go.
I am on a whole nother level today, because like we gonna have some real good conversation today. But you know what too? Like Tamiko and I have so much fun doing these. Like I hope y'all having fun too. And if you are, like, let us know. Put some emojis or whatever it is for you that express enthusiasm. Put that in the chat so we know that you are enjoying this as much as we are. I don't care if it's on YouTube. I don't care if it's in a Facebook group. I don't care. Well, we're not on IG yet. But you know what? We are on IG, but we don't do our lives on IG. I'm just saying. So however it is you want to express like your like excitement and enthusiasm about this, I'm just prophesying here. I want you to do that part. Okay, so I want to give it over to my girl, Tamiko Ruby J.
Hey, welcome everybody. Marnita, I'm loving your energy today. I'm loving it. Welcome to the platform. We are having fun. And I just want to piggyback what Dr. Marnita said. Hey, we're excited. You know, believe it or not, we have just as much fun on camera as we do off camera. And we take a deeper dive into this. So I'm Tamiko Ruby J, Reiki Master and spiritual mentor and coach. And super excited about being here. Like, y'all, listen, I'm continuing to show up in this my partner over here, my partnership over here. Okay. So as she stated, I also want to remind you, because often for those that are watching on Facebook right now, this is live, but also know that we are available for you 24/7 on YouTube. So in those wee hours of the morning when you like, I can't sleep, go on over to $1,000,000 Legacy with Purpose. And there we are. You can watch us for, like, you could do like you do on Netflix and just watch us for like a whole couple of episodes, just like you do with Ted Lasso or what's that other show? I'm not gonna say, but do us like you do them, because we right here. And just know you might watch us one evening and follow us up, and then go out into the real world, and there we are. We're right there with you. Like, hey, Tamiko, oh my goodness, I just spent the whole evening with you, girl. What you get out of that? So
yes, that all of that. I love the level of Tamiko. I love the level of engagement that we have been getting thus far on our combos for your calling. So for those of you who are like really like diving in and pulling whatever purposeful gems that you need to pull out of that for yourself, thank you for letting us know. There was a couple of comments about last week's conversation about like, I love the vulnerability, and you know, it wasn't planned like for me to be vulnerable. No. I just felt it like that at that different time. And Tamiko said, well, it was because that yellow background that you was having like this kind of connection with yourself. I'm like, okay, well, however it works.
You know
How
what's
it works, it works
yeah,
that way, you know?
yeah.
So I thank you for the comments and the engagement and the sharing. The group is growing, as you can see. For those of you who are engaging with the weekly wins that are being posted, y'all are killing the game out there. So thank you for sharing with others in the community to help inspire and encourage them so they can be more open to opportunities and options that they may have in their world. Because if you can do it, we can do it, because we all have the same level of grace and mercy. So,
Nice. Amen.
all
Amen.
right, I got an amen in there
I
today. Like, I'm just
am.
saying,
It's that grace and mercy because Lord knows we need it.
girl,
Mm.
that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But today, today we are talking about, I think it's, like I said last week, I didn't know what we were going to talk about. So I texted Tamiko, you want to talk about this? She said, yeah, I'm game. And so it's going to be a framework of how you can purposefully build a dope legacy. You know, like everybody has their sayings for their time period from when they grew up, and I was really never into like the whole kind of like aphorism slang kind of thing that was going on. But this one I think is really can be applied to any generation, and they will have some meaning behind it, because we're talking about dope. And what we're going to talk about today in regards to being dope, like dope, I have to put some neck action in there when I say that, being dope. We are talking about it in the context of a framework that I will hope that will encourage you to build a dope legacy. Like that thing that you're going to leave it behind. Remember, our mission here is for you to get enrolled, engaged, and get encouraged about discovering and developing and deploying your purpose so you can create an amazing life. I can even say so you can create a dope life, like, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I want to start off with this framework, DOPE. Dope, D, the D. Let's talk about the D first, Tamiko. The D, the D, the D, the D, the D, the D, the D. The D means is the first thing, like when you're going for anything, like, and I thought about this, right? When you're going for anything, the first thing that you need to do is to make a decision, to decide. And when you decide about something, it's not like you decide and then you change your mind. That's not what this is about by any stretch of the imagination, because decide, the meaning of the word decide is to cut off. To decide means to cut off any other options that may be available, because we want to be intentional. We want to be intentional about whatever it is that we're going to be moving forward into. And oftentimes we decide, we make a choice to do something. We have all of these choices and we choose one. Decide does not mean to choose one. It means to cut off all other choices, pick one and decide to go through it, no matter what it costs you, because it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you something. You're going to struggle through that baby. You're going to hit some walls in that baby. But no matter what, you want to move through it because you have made a decision.
Nice.
So that's why I feel about the letter D in dope is to first decide. Tamiko, you want to add anything to that?
I like what you just said. What I'm hearing in your description on the decision with the continuing to push through also is saying you committed. So when you decide, there's also a commitment there. That's just how I heard it. That's how I needed to hear it, because I can decide on some things and then I'll swerve. So now with how you just made that
Yeah.
description on decision, I have to look at that a little differently now. So I like it. I like it.
So, you know, it hit me because it's personal. is there any 80 percenters out there in the world? Like, if you're an 80 percenter out there, can you put I am in the comments? Like, so we'll know. So I know that I am not in this one by myself. Right? And what I mean by 80 percenters, y'all do something. You get this idea and you take it to 80%, and you leave that 20% out there dangling forever.
Ever.
And you never complete it.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. I'm about to. I'm about to, right?
Go back to a previous episode to get that private joke. It's not private.
Right,
It's
right. Oh, I know some 80 percenters out there, and what I've learned is to make my decision on whatever it is I'm gonna do, and to finish it, to carry it through to completion. And if you are a creative person, you have a higher potential of being an 80 percenter than you probably think you know, because you get all these ideas and they all sound and look good, right? And you want to start it, you want to jump in, and you have all of this enthusiasm in the beginning, you're inspired, and somewhere in the process, I can't put my finger on it, but somewhere in the process you get bored with it. And you drop it. At that point, it's like 80% complete. And you got that idea for that book and you're writing it, and you call it writer's block. It's not writer's block. It's that you haven't committed to your decision to completion. Okay. So stop fooling yourself saying like it's writer's block. It's not. Like, own your stuff, be responsible. Period.
Okay.
What you got to say about that, girl? Because you and I, we've been in business for a minute, more than a minute, but you know what I mean? It's an Afro, like how I didn't see anybody in the hood. Like, I've been out here a minute, right? We 6 decades into this game, but we've been here a minute.
Yeah. What I would say to that's a good one, because the decision to commit, and especially for people that are creative, and what I find as being a creative, the decision comes with the thought for creating it. So where I know it becomes a squirrel for me is, like you said, getting all of it off. For me, if it's too many players that are involved that are blocking the process of me getting it done, I'm out. I'm on to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. So that's a very good analogy that you put up, is that you put out there for the community to think about, is making the decision to ride it all the way out to completion. Because like I said before, I could be the queen of coming soon. Okay. And I do have a tendency, I'm working on this, to have more than one project in the works. So that's another thing. So if one of the newer projects has more, as they say, bells, whistle, and glam at that point, it's like a newborn baby, right? It's like a newborn baby. You can have brothers and sisters and everybody come over and see the kids. Anybody think about you, all of a sudden they're like, oh, where the baby at? Where the baby? So all of the attention goes on the baby. And then you don't even go back to the older kids until whenever. Until that might have been something. So looking at it from that perspective, that original thing that you were almost there, you think about something comes up and you're like, oh yeah, that's an opportunity. That left opportunity on the table. So that part. So that's a good way. I like the way you put that. It's a good way of looking at it.
And I like a question that you often ask your clients, Tamiko. I want to take and apply it to this particular situation. In that, when you got to that 80%, do you ever stop? Yeah. Do you ever stop and assess what happened? Because I am so sure there are so many people out there listening to us that is like in alignment with exactly what we're talking about right now. And have you ever asked yourself the question, what happened? You mentioned it could be like too many people in the mix, right? Well,
That's what it's been for me. Yeah.
no, you're
Yeah.
not in that one by yourself. I know
Mhm.
that's true. Like
Mhm.
some of like I've suffered from that, and I
What's
probably
that? What's that old cliche that? Well, I know this is something that my elders used to say. Too many cooks in the kitchen spoil the soup.
cook in the kitchen. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because
But you have to know like when it's time to help either the people who are just taking up space in the kitchen and the people who really need to stay in the kitchen and needs to be encouraged to turn up the heat in the oven, if
Mhm.
you will. Like you need to be able to assess that because we have to become better in the completion of whatever it is that we decide to do. So that was the first, that's the first leg of our framework today. D is to decide, right?
Yep.
The second one is one of my favorites, which is O. O means obstacles. You know why I love this one? I love this one because it gives you an opportunity to reposition your perspective, to reposition your origin, where you're starting. So, obstacles is like you're struggling through some stuff, right? But it gives you an opportunity to reposition your origin, your starting points, which when you reposition or you have a different you can have multiple perspectives, so that origin can create like opportunities that could be available in that perspective view. So you have now you have some new opportunities, so you decide to do something and you run into an obstacle. It gives you an opportunity to get a different perspective so you can create a new starting point, a new origin. And then that origin now is going to open up other opportunities. Now you have other options. Because when you're great at something and when you're getting good at something, great people have options. Good people just settle.
Mm.
Good
I get.
people, good people just settle. Great people have options.
Okay. I
Because
think
now they can make demands because they're in demand because they're great.
I think all people have options. Great people just know how to continue to push through and have more options. Okay. Um, the beauty in what you just said also with obstacles create winners because you have to push past an obstacle, like you said, to realize you have another option, which creates another option, which creates another option, which eventually will get you to completion. So that's
Yeah,
the beautiful thing about obstacles. One of the things about coaching, what makes people successful coaches is usually they can share their life experience or an obstacle in whatever subject matter, whatever niche they're in. And that's what makes them authentic and successful because it's just like you said, they've mastered or they've won at that particular obstacle. They decided to push past whatever they're deciding to do.
yeah,
Where you're saying you help people see themselves and build this amazing them, right?
yeah,
That obstacle. You've been there, done that. Have a t-shirt and a baseball cap. How about that? So
yeah.
that's what I would say with that one too. Yeah.
I read a book. Y'all know I like to read, right? Well, if you don't know, now you know. Like
Now
if you
you
don't
know what you got,
know,
what you
right.
read.
So I love to read. So there's this amazing book who really gets into like conversation around obstacle. It's called The Obstacle is the Way. I love the title of that by
Mm.
Ryan Holiday. I think it was on my book list for 2024. I think I
Well,
posted my book list in a group, but The Obstacle is the Way. I think I've read it twice already. Um, It's all about the struggle. Like oftentimes there's a negative connotation to struggle. Your struggle is a gift.
Can be. It really can be.
It can be like, and
It can be.
it,
And I
it, it depends on your perspective, because your struggle is what gives you perseverance. It heightens your level of perseverance. And your heightened level of perseverance begins, like, let's get back to you now, begins to create the character of who you are. And that character gives you hope. That character gives you hope. So if you don't know what your character is, I can't even say find yourself for obstacles, because obstacles come up all the time. Just embrace it and persevere. Don't give up on it. Persevere through it, because that's why it's there. There is something that you need to know, and breaking through that obstacle that's trying to block you, because you have a more responsibility. It all comes back down as responsibility. You have a responsibility to break through. We are not letting you off the hook.
that part. That part. The
So
other
don't
thing,
ask me like, can I do something? No, you can do what you want, but if you asking me my opinion, I'm gonna tell you the NO word. Go ahead, Tamiko. I'm off my rant right now. I'm getting I'm kind of getting a
you're in
certain,
full tilt.
kind
Keep
of way
going.
with
You're
it
in
right
full
now.
That's funny. You know, you keep going. You in it. You in it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think the beautiful thing about obstacles as well is if we look at the book of Job or the story of Job, you know, and about obstacles also help you build faith. It helps you build endurance. When you're in that, okay, it's hard to understand it. But the thing that I would also bring to um realization is when you're going through something, right? When you're in the midst of the chaos or you're in the midst of the struggle, who is your go-to? Who is that person that you go to? Or looking at it from this part, this is what makes life dope. Um, who comes to you when they're in the midst of their obstacles? And if the people that come to you when they're in the midst of the obstacles, have you noticed that the obstacle that they're coming to you for is the same thing? That tells you that your character has been built in that area. And now you are in your circle, the expertise on how to get through this. That piece speaks to character, right? If you're the
Yeah.
friend that's already been through divorce, somebody's going through a divorce or a breakup, you on the other side of that smiling, glowing, looking good, dating, having a great time, you're going to get that call. Help, right? So the beauty about obstacles is even not only when we're in it, but who's in it with us and how many times have we gotten through it, right? Whatever the obstacle is. And let me say this part, ladies and gentlemen, if you keep hitting your shin on the same hurdle, on the same obstacle, you looping around that thing, that also will stop you from getting to the end of what you're trying to do. At one point in that lesson, do you learn so you can move forward? That's all I got for that one.
Yeah, learn the lesson. But also, I think it's amazing. I was thinking about this morning. I know I might end up like impacting somebody in a different kind of way right now, but I'm gonna say it anyway. In general, we will help so many other people work through their obstacles. But when it comes to us, we give up on our own. And
Mm.
our biggest impediment to what it is that we want, to assessing our purpose, our biggest impediment is ourselves. We are our best adversary.
Mm.
I thought about this morning because I know for me, if I'm not aware of it, I can be my biggest adversary to my own stuff. And I own that. I used to blame everybody outside of myself and everything outside of myself. It was because there was this, I'm just like saying, it could have been because the news, like I'm not watching, but it could have been because something on the news distracted me. Like people bring stuff to you all the time. And I forget like what I'm working on. Now my attention is focused on something else that has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with me. But I allowed them to distract me. That's not their fault. That's my fault. And so now I've lost momentum as a result of that. And so because I've lost momentum, now my level of enthusiasm has been impacted also. It's like this chain event that occurs when I allow myself to be my biggest impediment to what it is that I want by allowing something else to impact me in the way that it does. It's not their fault. It's not its fault. It's my fault. And I have to own that.
Okay. Okay. So that's good. But I'm gonna ask you something. In the
Go ahead.
future, when
She
that
coached me, y'all. Y'all listen, take notes now. She's about to coach me.
I'll coach us. Because I'm just gonna ask in that when that distraction comes, right? Can it just be a is? Like that's my fault? Or can it just be a that without the fault? It's a distraction. It's just a distraction.
Yeah, I agree. You have distractions and you have
Mhm.
intention, and two cannot live in the same space.
Mhm. Mhm. So,
You have to choose which one are you going to allow at the moment.
mhm.
And you're right, because it is what it is. I like the way you said that, girl. It is, yeah. Yeah,
It's
you have to listen to her
it's
because
a
she be sneaking some stuff in there. Like, but I like that when she said, is it just is or is it that, right? Because when I was in Ohio, I think I was telling you, Tamiko, I had no intention I was gonna be out there like I took my mom to the dentist, and my mom has been wanting to go to the dentist for a minute. And I come there, we go, and she knew what she wanted to have done, but I didn't know it was gonna cost like that. So things just happen because it is. And
hap-
so I still gotta do what I do. Now I gotta like inject something else in there and hustle up and do another thing in order to get beyond this kind of like perceived other hurdle that I wasn't expecting, not as much as it was at that particular time. It just is. Yes, it was a distraction probably to what I had intended to do before I got to Ohio, but it just is. Now that distraction has become my intention. I like that. Now that distraction had transformed into an intention, and it could do it. I love the way that came out, that unfolded. I love that happened. Y'all just
but that's the way I do it in trying to simplify it to its least common denominator in that because it 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 doesn't it's not as heavy, it's not as weighted we can move through this thing called life a lot easier when we you see I leaned in. I leaned in. I'm like, oh
I
yeah, this
know.
good, this good, this
That's
good.
another sign that she gives when she's trying to get she leans in. If you go back to one of our first conversations, she told us that, right?
I lean
I'm
in.
gonna lean in.
Right. And it was so funny because I don't a few years back, it might have been before COVID, but when the whole Facebook thing and all the partners were starting to part ways and switch things up. But one of the female part, I can't think of her name in the moment, but and she was talking about having um work life, personal life balance. And there's a book called Lean In. I'm like, oh, we're talking about leaning in. Okay, there and and it was so funny because when my son is like, yeah, you talk about a whole lot of things. If you put it in a book, you wouldn't even have to work right now. Keep it as
Yeah.
simple, but that's the link. But that also comes from the fact that I really do enjoy conversation. I people say, oh, well, you study people. No, I hear people. I don't study nobody. There's a difference. But when you the biggest thing is when you've gotten through some hurdles, you've gotten through some obstacles, the way that you relate with people becomes different. It becomes dope. Wait till she show
So,
you those other two. Oh boy, that's all it's
I love that fact that you say you hear people,
hmm
because I don't think a lot of people do. And
Most people don't.
it says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger, right?
hmm hmm
Um, we need to really engage in active listening more,
hmm
because a lot of times we're hearing, but we're not listening. And we are hearing to respond because you think it's about you responding. Nope. So I loved that's one of your foundational principles.
hmm So that part, the other thing with the hearing, right? One of the reasons we don't hear also is because we want to be heard,
Mm.
right? If you watch an interview, usually oftentimes, and I don't care who's interviewing who, okay, especially like working and even with the podcast, when we get done, if you notice, we both say you think that was good, right? Right?
Yeah.
And so when a person is interviewed, they was like, I did all right, right? That was good, right? And so human nature, since once you start speaking, because you think about even a kid, I often reference children because children can teach us a lot, right? And
Yes.
so when you have adults just talking back and forth, and especially if the conversations gets elevated, where it's a lot of either whether it's tension or whether it's laughter, there could be a little person in the room that's not necessarily has their vocabulary, but they have a voice. They will start getting loud as everybody else. You know, because and what are they talking about? And they'll have their own little jerk going on, but they're going to match that energy in the room because they want to be heard too. And so human nature will have it that we want to be heard. We want to be seen. Okay. Even people like I'm an introvert, but you still want to be seen. You want to be loved first. You want to be seen. You want to be heard. It's real simple. And it's very people will say, I heard you. That means they didn't.
Mm.
I heard you.
So
Yeah.
so the next time somebody say like I heard you, like you can say no, you didn't.
Usually. Well, no, what I say,
But
okay,
that would get their attention. That would get their attention. Like, no, you didn't. Like, then
or
they
here,
stop.
here's the thing. If they say, I heard you, okay, what did I say?
That part too.
And they're like, but I heard you. But what did I say?
She's so calm with it,
It's just, I mean, it because
like what?
it forces a
You
person.
don't see her like, so what did I say?
So what did I say? But I heard you. I heard you when you said, you know what you said. I do know what I said, but you didn't hear me. So continue.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
It's
I
that
love
little things, but that's like for me, it's the being able to go underneath the thing. Like what's propelling that, or what
Yeah,
even gave that seed, you know? So
right, right.
yeah, it's good.
I- that's good. So the next letter, we dope today. How
Dope
about that?
today. Dope today.
Dope. How to create a purposeful, dope legacy. P, perseverance. You want to start this one off? Perseverance?
Ooh, perseverance. So perseverance, which is so amazing, the decision, the obstacle, and the perseverance, you spoke to it highly, intensely, is when it gets to that point where you're just ready to give up, the push through, the remembering, the why, your why, not
Mhm.
anybody else's why, but your why. And if and even if the why is because someone said you couldn't, let that be your perseverance to push through. Okay. It was so interesting with school, for me, especially going to theology. And as you get to closer to the end of anything, like you say, that 20%, you got a year and a half to go. I had this nagging feeling that kept coming up. So why you doing this? What you doing? You don't even go to church. You go to church online. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Okay, you done got pretty much through the Bible. Okay, it like all kind of, okay, you done opened your business, but what about your business and how are you going to do that? And then the perseverance that had to come through that, right? And it was the commitment. It was the commitment that I'm gonna get this done this time. Like we're gonna push through. Okay. Um, we also have to know what our limits are. What's going to start, what's going to derail you or pull your focus where you don't necessarily persevere, or you don't think you can persevere,
Okay.
right?
Perseverance can be, you can experience a lot of pain in persevering.
A lot, a lot. And
So if somebody is experiencing pain, like, and it's subjective, I get
mhm,
that.
mhm.
You still have a responsibility to persevere through that pain, because the pain is not here to harm you, it's here to help you, because there is something that you need in order to break through that you don't know yet. Ah, that's good.
Mhm.
That is so good that you don't know yet. I know you think you know it all, but you don't.
Mm.
Like nobody does except the one who created us. God knows it all, right?
That's it.
So stop pretending, stop playing, and persevere through the pain, because there's revelation beyond the pain.
You think about
You can't
athletics.
have elevation without elevation, revelation. You cannot have elevation without revelation. So that part there is worth it. Go ahead, Tamika. I'm sorry. I'm
That-
sorry, girl.
That's okay. All I was gonna say is, you think about an athlete. You think about working out. No pain, no gain. Sometimes you have to tear through, push through, go through to get through.
Yeah.
Persevere. Yep.
Perseverance. So I like that. I also like to think of perseverance as like hope being the fuel for perseverance. I like to think about it in that way, hope being the fuel for perseverance. Because um, if you can maintain hope, like based on your why, you said that, right? Based on your why, um, like I love life. I didn't, I, c- I remember, I don't remember like when I was younger, ever being able to say that I love life. I love life. Uh,
Mm.
because there is so much that I don't know. That's the exciting part for me. Yeah, like people congratulate me because like, ooh, Marnita, you got a PhD in chemistry. Congratulations. Okay, thank you. Um, and I feel some kind of way about that because I don't know if that's a congratulatory, like for somebody else, like that just don't sit. That's like congratulate, happy birthday, congratulate. The two don't mix. Like, don't.
Marnita, take the congratulations, okay? Take the congratulations. I don't care what
I
they meant
like
to
always
be.
feel some kind of
Take
bad way about somebody telling me congratulations on that, but okay. But yeah, but like I think it takes a lot to persevere through stuff. I remember when I was going through grad, that was a 12-year journey for me from undergrad to graduating. That was 12 years. And it was painful. Like I cried in my room on several occasions. I cried in my assistant dean's office on several occasions. I wanted to quit on several occasions. But it goes back to what you said, like having your go-to people to be able to go and sit and cry, because the crying, let me tell you, just based on as I'm ruminating here live,
This is good. This is
as I'm
good.
ruminating here, the crying only lasts one night, and you get up, dry your tears, and you keep it moving.
That's it.
The discomfort only lasts one night, and you shake it off, and you go back to the gym and get inspired and get pumped and keep it moving. The disappointment, like the D's on a test, the disappointment on that part, it only lasts one night, but you get up and you take it again. Like you move forward in spite of the pain. It's painful.
But you get her done. You got it done.
I got it done.
You got it done.
That's what the congratulations is for. I didn't never,
Yes.
girl, I ain't never looked at it that way. See, we always want to minimize our own elevation through things. Why? In my mind, I'm like, why are you telling me congratulations? Like, I just did it. Like, that's not a congratulatory moment. Um, that's how I used to feel. Like, that's how I was
I was
still
just going to
feeling.
say, used
That's how I'm still feeling like.
to?
So that's some stuff that I need to work through for myself. So thank you, y'all.
That's why.
That's another vulnerable.
Right. That's why I catch myself when I just say Marnita and I always say Dr. Marnita because it's like, you know, you earned that thing. You know what I'm saying? And when I mean that thing, I mean all that went into that, all that you pushed through. You said you did it in 12.
Yeah, it took me 12 years, girl.
I don't know why. Don't do that
I
because
know. I was about to say because I heard myself say what I said.
don't do that. Well, I'm
She
getting
is
ready.
so right.
I'm getting ready
Right.
to share also because when I was in school, you know, undergrad school, I slipped up in biology and didn't realize like oops, and then wound up pregnant. That was a whole nother biology thing. So then kind of dropped out and then did some other things, got other certificates, other licenses, all this. But then finally got that little associate. But I wanted to get that BA. I wanted to finish, right? I went back at 54. So how many years you think that took? It was a hell of a lot longer than 12.
Yes,
But
perspective.
once I got in there and got her
You did
done,
it.
I did it. I got it done, right? Like it was no holds bars. But that comes back to the perseverance because I wanted to be like, why the hell you doing this at 54? 50
You
grand?
know,
What?
but what you just said made me think like we always trying to do things in accordance to how we perceive it's supposed to be on our time, but it's not on our time, it's on God's time.
That part.
That's what it made me right now. Like, y'all so lucky, y'all like, I'm saying y'all so lucky, y'all seeing like all of this stuff come out. Like for
This
real,
is it.
for real.
This is it. Also, what I think people can see, hopefully, from this is you guys, there's over 100 years worth of experience, life experience on this screen right now, in this call right now. So to be able to be in this place, especially as minority women, because so often we might know where the bones lie, but we take them with us. So to
Mm,
be in this space right now, where we are being 100% vulnerable, as we have the conversation, this is perseverance in itself, pushing through discomfort as we speak. I want y'all to put some fire in the chat. Put a that all right, girl. Put a all right,
like
Dr.
that.
Marquita.
The
Could y'all
thing
do
going out of
that
your
for,
head.
for her so that my sister can get comfortable in the celebration of the excellence in which she did it? 12 years, 10 years, 8 years, 5 years, 20 years, 90 years, whatever. You got me motivated. I'm gonna get my PhD too, and then I'm gonna go a little later because I'm gonna complete it before I turn 100. And then when they trying to get that little money, I'll be like, I'm dead. So y'all figure it out.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I
I
love it.
mean, that's the motivator. But I'm saying that what is so important, so important, so important, so important. All right, is we have to learn how to not only celebrate ourselves, but to accept the celebration of you. How many times did somebody say, "Oh, girl, I like that hat. I like where'd you?" They won't even say where'd you get that hat. We will automatically sometimes, "Oh, this little thing, I got this on sale." No, stop. Take the compliment. Just take the
Yeah.
compliment. Just say
Right.
thank you. Just
Right.
say thank you.
Mhm.
But oftentimes you're like, "What did they see? Why did they say that?" Ooh, I'm
Yeah.
like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, not that. Allow yourself to be uncomfortable, not uncomfortable. Allow yourself to be uncomfortable with the fact that you're not comfortable with accepting the celebration,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I put a
What
celebratory
just happened? Did you do that? What just
celebrate. Y'all, I am being so silly right now, but I am celebrating with hearts and
I
love.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. There you go. There you go. Put all of that in there.
And
But
so
that
that was good. And so as you know, as you see, we are still a work in progress ourselves. And so hopefully this is adding some value to you being dope and creating your purposeful legacy. But we have one more. We have one
one
more to
more.
framework. And that is the E for enthusiasm. Now let me tell you.
Can
Enthusiasm.
we
Let me tell you, like when I get up every morning, my great nephew says, you wake up on the 15 every morning. I'm like, enthusiasm, like what's up? So after I finish my meditation and prayer in the morning, it is like, it's time to roll. It's time to rock and roll. Enthusiasm is, I am so excited to be me.
that part.
I am so excited to be me. I go to the pickleball court and they say, "How you doing, Marnita?" Like, I am amazing. Can't you feel it? They be looking like, "What's wrong with her?" Like, and then I said, "How are you?" I just said, just like, "How are you?" Like, they say, "Oh, I'm good." Like, you ain't good. Like, you ain't gonna get away from me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Enthusiasm. So enthusiasm is like, it's a perfect way to cap off this framework. With enthusiasm. Enthusiasm meaning God within. I don't know if y'all ever think about this, and probably Tamiko, based on her theology background and her spiritual coaching, she could add more to this cap of our framework for today, E for dope. But bring Tamiko, what you think?
Well, I mean, I love enthusiasm. I love and I that's that is what sits underneath my platform for everything. That celebration, that enthusiasm, that zest, that love for life. That is what enthusiasm is all about. And some people like, you like that all the time. Yes, because it comes from the core of who we is. It's the pump up, it's the wow, it's the dope. Okay. It's the dopamine that gets in there and gets you like, yes, yes, you know. I know a lot of times that one of the reasons that I get the calls from people, especially when something happens that they want to celebrate because they know they gonna get what. I'm leaned into the details. I want to hear it all of that. That enthusiasm, that zest, and that's what can also I love that the E is last because when you've gone through the other three steps in the platform for dope, you get to that point after you've done all of the things that you get to celebrate that enthusiasm. Once you complete something like that, and I would say this to us right now with what we just went into about the celebration, the enthusiasm, you know, speaking to when we have that desire, what brought us there, and that enthusiasm when the creativity comes up and we decide we want to try it, right? There's something there that's like, ooh, okay. Then we have these other two things in the middle, right? We have the obstacle, we have the perseverance, the push through, but the enthusiasm on getting that done, right? And this is so funny because if anybody does listening to this that knows me, and I'm talking about this thing with school, um, it did become an element of perseverance to get it done. But by the end, the enthusiasm was gone. I was about, we gonna get this ish done. And that was it. Graduated with honors. Did not, did not attend the commencement.
Mm.
So the enthusiasm was getting it done. That's all I had. I was done. And
You know, it reminds me that what you just said reminds me of you fell in love with the process. It was not necessarily the end result.
that is it. Because I knew I was doing it for me. And so that whole idea, and I remember my counselor, she was like, every now and again, because she was younger than my son, but that was okay. And she was like, look, sometimes I was Miss Tamiko, sometimes Miss T, Miss J. Like she was like, wait, but you go get ropes and you go get tassels. I said, there's probably 109 degrees outside, girl. I beat fell out. That ain't, I can't. No, I put it in the mail. I can pick it up. you know so speaking to the enthusiasm and understanding what our enthusiasm is and where, like, always celebrate that, like you said, getting up in the morning on 10. I get up dancing, I enjoy it. Like, again, I always often speak about my goddaughter who just turned 4, and she always on 200. So being able to have the energy of a 4-year-old, let's celebrate life, because having enthusiasm also, when all of the chaos and confusion that kind of can wave around us comes up, when you have this in your core, when you have a reason to celebrate you, when you have a reason to celebrate life, when all of the chaos and confusion happens, you might miss it. When oftentimes when people ask me, did you know about this and did you know about that, especially regarding just inner city or Cleveland trauma and drama? No,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I don't watch the news. I
Right.
I used to work in that how about that in that
Right.
for
Right.
almost 6 years as a makeup artist. Okay. So imagine going from Cleveland Playhouse. Okay, I haven't worked on getting things together, their wigs, whether it was makeup or whatever, and leave that. And then at 11 o'clock at night, going over to work with the anchors at the 11 o'clock news. You know what's interesting about that whole thing? They both at one point became like theater. Okay. Now, back in the day, there used to be this thing called journalism. Now, today, there's this thing called sensationalism. There's a difference.
Yeah.
And a very wise anchor said that to me, who had been on the air for almost 25 years.
Yeah.
So we have to remember where our enthusiasm comes from and work real hard to be excited and stay excited about this thing called life, because life really is dope.
It is dope. You know what, I want to like close up my part of this conversation with telling you, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I celebrate you. You have done so much to impact not only you and your family, but you've also done so much to impact the community. And the community, you add so much value, and the community will never be the same because you have decided to break through your own obstacles and persevere and help people engage with enthusiasm. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And the same to you, my friend, that you continue to strive. I want to say that I have enthusiasm and hope as I watch you do this, the way you put this together, the way you handling the back, what do they call it? The back house or whatever. I just sit there and all like, look at her go, y'all. And then handling and following up and putting all of the thing in the support group. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all Marnita. I am showing up like Miss B, like, where do you want me to be? I will sit in the seat and I will do that. Anything else you need? So I commend you, and I'm excited about where this platform and how this platform will continue to grow, because it's so organic. And I'm noticing something here in a very good way in the continued blessing and essence of the vulnerability, but more so in the wisdom, you know? So thank you. Thank you. I salute you. I salute you. It is good. It is good.
And if you think, again, if you think this has value for you, but most importantly, if you think it will have value for other people that you may know, please share our YouTube channel with them and also invite them to the group. Until next week, Tamiko, you have anything else you want to leave them with?
Until next week, be enthusiastic about the fact that you are breathing, living, loving, and beautiful. I see you beautiful people out here, because y'all out here with us. So,
yes.
Be blessed, folks.